What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4 with our Japanese Iron Man playthrough. We are currently on the 27th of October 1939, and basically I am preparing to go to war with Siam sometime soon. If we go ahead and take a quick glance, on the 22nd of February 1940, our claim will be ready to go. I don't see any nations guaranteeing its independence, so I'm hoping everything goes according to plan and we can basically annex all of Siam without having any issues. Our carrier focus has been unlocked. We now get a 50% research bonus to all future carriers. Now, I do want to go ahead and demand French Indochina now that all of France has fallen. After its defeat in Europe, France's hold over its overseas colonies is tenuous at best. Pressure the new French government into granting Japan full access to its bases in Indochina. This region will be useful as a springboard for future campaigns. Now, hopefully in 70 days, we are going to gain all of this territory for free. And it doesn't necessarily have the most amount of resources. I really don't need much rubber. I don't really need all that much tungsten or essentially chromium. But you know what? As the game progresses, and if we do somehow manage to get past like 1944 or something crazy, we are eventually going to need all of this tungsten to produce quite a bit of jet fighters. So right now, we are obviously producing some civilian factories. I think I do want to go ahead and start building up some radar stations, at least out in the Pacific here. Now, they are going to take quite a while to build. Unlike civilian factories where they cost about 10,800 resources, a radar station will cost about 3,300. So essentially, it's probably going to take around 4 months to get a level 3 radar station. And obviously right now we can only get level 2. But nevertheless, we should obviously start working towards our goal. 1 here, maybe 2 here, and I suppose getting closer to Japan probably isn't that bad of an idea. The idea, though, is to basically put as many naval bombers here in these territories as we can. If we go to our strategic air map mode, putting in naval bombers will grant us the ability to bomb the enemy ships, but unfortunately, without radar, they are going to be fairly ineffective. Okay, well, let us finally unpause. Missing equipment in production. I did go ahead and I shifted up this naval bomber closer to the top. The second armistice at Compagnie. The nation of Francois declared war on Free France. So it looks like we have a civil war as well. An armistice between the German Reich and the French Third Republic has been signed at Compagnie. And the very railway carriage in which the German surrender in World War I was negotiated. Under the terms of the armistice, a French government under Marshal Pétain, based out of Vichy, will continue to administer most of southern France, while the rest of the country falls under a German occupation zone. Some French officers have vowed to continue resistance from abroad, but this puts an effective end to the fighting in France, at least for the time being. So like I said, all we're really doing is we are building up our industry. The death of Rudolf Hess, that is very interesting. We are building up our industry as much as we can. I do plan on building a naval base here inside Siam, maybe a level 10 naval base, and potentially a very powerful radar station as well. Finland rejects the Soviet demands. Every day that goes by, we are gaining more and more civilian factories. Now, I'm hoping... Now, obviously, we have 3 lines of civilian factories, all with 15 out of 15, so the goal is all 3 of these radar stations will be constructed. But what's nice is we have 5 additional civilian factories that can, work on other projects. Maybe like our naval base, maybe getting some coastal forts. I'm not necessarily sure what we're going to waste our resources on just yet, but it looks like we are obviously still exercising some Marines. Other Marines are being constructed. We now have new weapons, which can now be shifted over. I guess we do have steel. These do cost more money. And you know what? I don't know if we necessarily need this many motorized. Maybe breaking you on down to about 3. Probably not the worst idea. Making 5 a day. Not all that bad. We currently have an excess of 1.4 thousand. Other than that, we have a new research opportunity is 1939. We could get better Marines, and that seems like our best option, even though we have all of our industry still working on Excavation 3. And the reason why we want Excavation, obviously we get more resources, but what most people fail to realize is the resource gain efficiency will help us with our synthetic oil refineries. So that means we are going to get about 30% more oil and rubber from all of our refineries. Let's go ahead and unlock better Marines. We are definitely going to be putting those to good use, and now we finally have them all prepped and ready to go. There's Unit 1, Unit 2, and Unit 3. Now, all of you will join our Marine Division. And just like before, you all need a naval base, so I suppose garrison here. You all will garrison here. I want to bring you to China, so it's not as hard. Oh my goodness, what is happening? We do have convoys. Garrison the area. There it is. Our purple group needs to move over. Find another port. Why do I keep pressing the wrong icon? Alright, garrison area. There it is. And then finally the orange group. I suppose they can go to Taiwan. That is not the right icon. Okay, everybody is moving over. I do want to change these colors up just because they kind of bothers me a little bit. I want blue, obviously, but, you know, it doesn't necessarily which blue doesn't matter which blue I choose. This can be a teal. That's not really teal. Let's go like this. And now we have all 4 of our Marine divisions. Let's give them some generals. Level 2 generals will be fine. They won't be fighting too much. Level 3 and a level 3. And very soon, we obviously aren't going to be going to war. We're probably not going to be declaring war until like January of 1940. Obviously, right now we're working on our industry, which is almost done on the 23rd of December. And then eventually our queue will eventually start reaching down. Working on our 3rd level of radar. It will be completed in 80 days. The goal, like I said, is to build 3 stations of radar into the Pacific, and then obviously build some powerful radar stations over Siam. I do also want to build up my naval bombers as much as I can, and actually at 1940 we can obviously get quite a few more. We have a lot of towed artillery. I don't know if we need that much anymore, so you know what we could do is go bring you here and bring the artillery down to 5. And now we've maxed out our naval bombers without really changing anything at all. We no longer need any oil or rubber, so this is good, but we desperately, desperately need aluminum. So let us go ahead and trade for that. Right now, we are trading with the Reich. We're trading with the Dominion of Canada. And it looks like the German Reich could still give more, if I can calculate this correctly. Let's try to get 16 more aluminum. Now, if any of these get canceled or basically sunk, we are not going to be continuing trading. Part of me does want to trade with the Soviet Union, but you know what? I am a little scared of them. So let's go with, I guess, the Dutch East Indies. How much do I need? I need 13, so let's grab 16 for now. And there we are. We have positive 3 aluminum. Is there anything else that I can basically alter and change? I don't plan on altering any support equipment anytime soon. I am going to need a lot of weapons to continue the rest of our campaign. Though I would like another naval bomber, carrier naval bomber. But you know what? Our issue is we don't seem to have enough, oil. And we have 0 oil right now. Obviously, getting the better excavation in 30 days will unlock our new oil. And other than that, all we're doing right now is playing the waiting game. We've got some unassigned divisions that can go here. And I suppose that all of these units, I guess, can train up, get exercise. Wow, we don't have enough supply. Could all 24 of these units be moved? They probably should stay, but I guess for the time being, all we're going to do is move these units out into South Korea. Looking at our supply, we don't have much. So maybe moving these units. Let's change this garrison all the way up here. And then they should move and everybody will once again finally have supplies. I don't know how accurate, I don't even know if I needed to move those other units. I guess I didn't. Let's take these 24, and unfortunately I am once again going to bring them on down. And I guess I will begin an offensive line. Just annihilate all of France if we do have to go to war. But I'm hoping they'll just cede us their territory. And it looks like the UK is obviously protecting them as well. And I believe on the 22nd of February is when our war with Siam will be prepped and ready to go. Which leads me to believe, I really hope that we aren't going to have to declare war on Vietnam. Because then eventually all of the allies would join in. But we'll see what happens. They are currently at war with pretty much everyone. And they have anywhere between 24 and 66 divisions, which I highly doubt is inside Vietnam. Looking at our construction, still doing very, very well. Obviously, we traded a few of our factories away for more aluminum, which obviously was a not too bad of an idea. I do have a lot of steel, I do have a lot of chromium, but therefore I could make, more ships, but I lack oil. So, maybe, I don't know what we're gonna do. Obviously getting more oil would be one of our biggest priorities. Demand for, but obviously I need radar as well. Let's actually exercise all of these units. Are we still, yes, we still have too much supply. Can all of these green guys that's why you all can be moved. And I guess all 48 of you can try to come around here. And then eventually, if we need to, we will obviously put a new front line on the British Raj. Modify our government. We could get better tanks. We have no use for better tanks. We could get better ships. Anything with sortie. Naval air attacks from carriers. Absolutely. We are going to get better attack from carriers altogether. And we are about to demand French Indochina. I'm really hoping everything goes according to plan, though. Still got quite a bit of infantry equipment. We lack anti-tank, and we obviously lack tanks themselves. But our biggest priority is building up our naval bombers. Night assault tactics have been unlocked. I suppose we are going to now get additional containment. If we are unable to launch an attack to remove an enemy position, it must nonetheless be subject to constant minor attacks, which will cause losses and prevent the enemy from launching attacks of their own. More organization for all of our infantry, absolutely. And then eventually we have one left, giving us better recon. One day, here is our brand new excavation. I wonder how much oil did we actually get. We gained 4 oil, which probably means we could continue our production of, actually, our number one priority. I was going to get, probably something in engineering. I would obviously love to get improved computing machines, but our number one priority is the better naval bomber. And we're going to use all of our air experience and do better range and reliability. But it looks like we don't really have too great of an amount of air experience, which also, I could change over our military theorist in time. Hirohito speaks against Siam. The future belongs to Japan. And we've got one day until we demand French Indochina. The country of France has now been given the opportunity to basically cede all of Vietnam or go to war. Okay, I am going to skip pressure Siam. I have no idea if this is a good idea or not. We're going to try our own thing. Let us now begin naval base expansion. All we're going to be doing is getting some experience, and we are going to be getting some better naval bases, which essentially just means our fleet can repair a little bit faster. Okay, once again, everybody is doing their thing. We are doing well. Any moment now, I am hoping we are going to get all of Vietnam. If we don't, I will cry. And then, of course, on the 22nd of February, yeah! The French accept our demand. Now we've gained quite a bit of tungsten, chromium, and rubber. And we've actually gained some naval bases. So all 24 of you will now meet on Siam. and you are going to create a new front line, an offensive line, I guess I should say. And the goal is to basically just make Siam capitulate as quickly as possible, and then that way I can build both a naval base and a radar station as quickly as possible. Speaking of radar stations, it looks like we haven't necessarily even started, and I lied, we have now started. Looking at our naval bases, we have a level 6 naval base here inside Vietnam, which now means we can basically sail a lot of our bigger ships to the west. Japan demands French Indochina. Part of me is a little concerned about our, dominance over the Pacific, but hopefully if everything goes according to plan, which, probably won't happen, let's actually get these guys exercising. I want to give them experience. Now, basically, the reason why I say that is if we could somehow get radar stations over, much of the Pacific, we could easily defend it much, much better. Obviously, we need to siege down Guam. We need to remove Wake Island. We need to remove Midway Island. And potentially, I don't think the U.S. has really any other bases. Obviously, the U.K. is here. And if we just had just a few naval bombers on all of these regions, we could just bomb the heck out of every American ship that comes around. That's kind of cool. You can see the volcano. Or at least I think that's a volcano. Okay, what are we waiting on? Yugoslavia just did something. They are now at war against the Axis. Did they join the Allies? Yes, they did. Sometimes Yugoslavia basically changes allegiances every game I play. Italy still has not taken the Suez Canal, which is very frustrating. I'm wondering if I should go after Tibet, but obviously on the 22nd of February, we are going to be going to war with Siam. German interests in Scandinavia. Are we actually working on radar stations? Yes, but not really as much as we'd like. And finally, we can now get level 3. So as you can see, we currently have this. Well, that's odd. Usually if you make it bigger, it'll show us how much bigger it'll get. Well, that's odd. It's not doing it right now. Well, we'll figure it out another day. I promise you that obviously bigger radar stations have more range. We also need to get the better fighter sometime soon. Our #1 priority was the naval bomber, but now having better fighters will be very useful. We're going to need a lot of aluminum as well. Norway joining the Allies. We've got about 11 days left until we declare our war. We aren't producing any new units. We do have the ability, we have 4 oil here. Might as well put that to good use. We don't really need any carrier fighters or essentially any more carrier naval bombers. Well, we have oil, and we have steel, and we have chromium. I guess we could start trying to pump out some light cruisers. And the reason why I say this is we are, obviously we could get battleships or something along those lines. But I think our #1 priority is we are going to be running out of oil. However, our doctrines, our naval doctrines, are going to be, giving us quite a bit of bonuses to light cruisers, destroyers, and carriers. So ultimately, most of our ships are going to be carriers and light cruisers. Destroyers will obviously give us protection, but, they can't really sail all that far. So I think what we'll do is we will build them inside a new province. You know what? I lied. We'll put them in Hiroshima. Okay. Eventually, I'm going to need all 5 of these units to swarm Hong Kong, and it looks like we've already got that. I'm going to give you, I guess, a level 3 general. Hong Kong should fall, and it says it has 6 out of 25 slots unlocked. It is a very powerful city, but nonetheless, justification for conquering Siam has finished. I don't see any type of guaranteeing independence, so we shouldn't have to worry about them calling in allies. All of you, these 24 units, before I conquer anybody, these 24 units all have a plan. They are still preparing, but you know what? Let us go ahead and declare on the 23rd, gaining a little bit more experience, but nonetheless, we should be able to just absolutely wipe face. And let's see how well this works. We are pushing on every angle. And we're only going to gain about 2 new provinces, but obviously our #1 priority is building up our naval bases and our radar stations. And we might even need another project. If we don't have any projects on the 29th of March, which is really only a month away, we are going to be not as efficient as we could be. Call to arms request, no thank you. We have air wings with no divisions, which I don't mind. We will plan that out eventually. Everybody is pushing. Everybody's doing very well. You know what we could do? Let's actually put in field hospitals on everyone. All 48 of you will eventually get some field hospitals. Now, the reason why I say that is they keep their experience, and it'll make them a lot stronger, give them another mountaineer, I guess. We have a lot of artillery. Maybe putting in more artillery might not be such a bad idea. You know what? We will do that. It's the only place it's really going to be put to good use. We went from 6,000 to 3.2, and then our, obviously our infantry could use another one, and then I think we are going to be fine. Now, obviously, the reason why I put in all of those additional field hospitals is because when they do damage and they take damage, people die, and they lose experience. So the whole goal was to prevent an experience loss. Well, all of Siam is now ours. I don't want to puppet them. Ending our turn, and we are good to go. All 24 of you will now basically prepare for a a land invasion into Singapore. And then I guess in about a year, we are going to be declaring a war. Let us go ahead and get a new naval base here. And this can go to the bottom, and we are going to need a very powerful radar station. It looks like they are few and far between. Obviously, we have one here, here. Let's switch these up. Our #1 priority is, of course, this naval base. That way we can basically prepare all of our marine divisions. You know, put one here, they can take the islands. Here is our brand new naval bomber. And we can actually create a variant. Our only priority is range and reliability, with a preference to reliability. Looks like we can't do either, so therefore we will now just begin creating it. We have run out of aluminum, which I suppose is fine. We now need the carrier version. You know, once we take all of these islands, there is going to be a lot of aluminum. Everybody is going to be doing much, much better. We can now have a front line on the British Raj, and it actually will go all the way into Siam, which is very useful as well. Yeah, as you can see, because we added the field hospitals, a lot of people lost, you know, some of their experience. Not a lot, but it is going to take some time to get improved. Landing craft are almost completed. This means we now have a minus 50% naval invasion preparation time, which is obviously what we were going for. 18 days until we have better marines as well. Denmark has capitulated. The world is crumbling. Now, I believe that the Japanese basically bombed Pearl Harbor on December 7th, 1941, so I would say our campaign is going fairly straightforward, at least for now. I obviously want more and more resources, but it is going to be a little bit of an issue. I'm not going to be researching any more battleships. We just got the new landing craft. The carrier would be absolutely phenomenal, so I think I am going to do this. And then after 64 days goes by, I'm going to use all of my naval experience to put in bigger decks and maybe some additional range. Hungary demand, you know what, maybe some armor as well. Having my carriers not get sunk is probably our best option. Romania rejects the Hungarian demands. And I guess we are going to now go with Fortress Japan. Should our enemies ever overwhelm our navy, our fortifications will make any attempted invasion cost far more than most nations can afford to pay. Okay, the German Reich, with obviously their nationalist Spain allies, are doing quite well. The USSR is basically going to war with Finland still. And I'm hoping there won't be a white peace. Well, you know what? Part of me hopes there will be a white peace. And basically, the USSR has this event. Romania returns Transylvania. These two pieces are now part of Hungary. But basically what I was trying to say is the USSR has a white peace deal when they can basically end the war early with Finland, and they can gain 3 territories instead of all of them. Now, I have no idea why Finland would ever USSR would ever back off from Finland, but I guess we will see what happens exactly. All 48 of these units have their plans. Might as well give them a front line, even though an offensive line, even though I don't necessarily plan on doing an invasion anytime soon. And this line can be very massive, because of course it is a level, we have 48 units in here altogether, and now we are finally going to gain a very small amount of preparation. Okay, Marines level 2 have been unlocked. I could get better Mountaineers, but I think our number 1 priority... Ooh, radar stations. Our number 1 priority is the improved computing machines. And I guess in 60 days, we are... or better yet, in 10 days, we'll probably start the better radar stations. And then eventually, you know what? We probably need the better aircraft. And we also need aluminum. Could we trade for that for now? We are lacking 12 aluminum. German Reich could give me 8 more. And I don't want to trade with the US. Could get some from Free France. We need 12. Let's take 16. I don't like trading that much because obviously we lose some factories. But we'll see exactly what happens. And maybe getting some synthetic refineries might not be all that bad of an idea either. Unfortunately... we've got our radar stations everywhere they can be. We might even need... yeah, see, this is what I was saying. Right now, we have a level 1 airbase. This is a level 3 airbase. I don't know. This looks like a level 1 to level 3, so it is a pretty big change. Level 4 is even bigger. And so imagine having it in all these different places. Research slot available. Like I said, I think what I do absolutely need the Mitsubishi carrier fighter. But I think what I do need, I said it a minute ago, I don't remember what it was. We're getting the carrier. I don't remember what I was trying to get. It was probably something important, maybe Mountaineers, but I don't need those that much. I suppose we could go ahead and start getting better artillery, at least pumping it out. How much better is it? 32 soft attack versus 24. And it obviously costs a little bit more with production costs, but same amount of resources. More breakthrough, so overall, and more defense. So overall, this is way better. I guess we're going to have to unlock it. Now we have a new fighter. And we lack oil once again. Can we trade it from anybody? We don't need this rubber, because we now have an excess amount. We need oil again, so let's get it from Venezuela. Okay, well, we are planning on declaring war very, very soon. And you know what? Let's go ahead and justify our war goal now. It's going to be 125 days, and I want to go after Singapore. And do we have military police? I guess that's, you know what? That's going to be a huge priority. Man, we absolutely need military police. So maybe in 34 days, we will go ahead and switch over. Is there anything else that we can really produce for now? Obviously, all of our fighters that we're producing are going to be put to good use. We don't seem to have too many. We have 700, but obviously other nations have thousands and thousands of fighters. Unassigned divisions, more and more of you. They're always the same divisions. This guy probably needs a level 1 field marshal. He will gain experience and time. They have so much infantry. Oh, that needs to go here. I wish we could get, like, I wish I could get every unassigned division and just, like, put them in one instead of individually clicking. How many do they have? Are they all in one spot? I don't even know anymore. There we go. They've all gone away. All 31 of you, I suppose, can make their way to the front line. Okay, declaring on the British Raj should go quite well. They have a lot of resources, but I don't really see any aluminum, which is what I absolutely need. I see a lot of oil. I see a lot of steel. There's some small aluminum bits and pieces, but you know what? I mean, obviously we're going to take over the British Raj, but you know what? It's not necessarily as good as I thought it would be. All 48 units should do fine. All of our Marines should conquer everything over here. I guess all we need to do now is beef up our garrisons, or maybe even produce a few more. Do all of our garrisons, they are the purple group. Are they actually garrison? No, they are not. I'm going to pause the game, garrison every single isle, and the #1 priority is not necessarily to guard the coastline. All we need to do is guard the naval bases, and then we are going to be fine. All of these islands will be garrisoned. I guess that wasn't all that many. And I suppose maybe making some very, very weak, you know, naval bases might not be such a bad idea. It looks like we now need 22 divisions and we have 15. So, therefore, I guess we're going to be upgrading them sooner rather than later. We obviously need to give them an engineering company, and I guess we will give them some additional infantry. We have the units and we have the artillery, so we might as well put it to good use. We now have 2.9 artillery and 79,000 infantry, so we do have quite a bit of that. So the entire goal is we're going to have our tanks take out Hong Kong, we are going to have all of our mountaineers take over the British Raj, and we're going to have all 24 of these divisions basically reconquer Singapore. And all of our Marines, well, our #1 goal is to take this island. Do we have our naval base? Yes, we do. Let's begin our naval invasion orders, or better yet, let's actually go ahead and end this episode. Thank you all so much for joining me. I hope you all have an awesome day, and I will see you in our next adventure.